Too
Do you have-
important.
I'm gonna nitro that ass.
Wow. Put your kids to sleep, everyone.
Into
Uncle
the,
David had too much whiskey tonight.
Woo! Nitro Daddy.
David, oh my
David!
goodness.
Every time you push it past the limit.
This is not that kind of channel.
Anyways, we digress. Let's get started.
We're young. We can be on TikTok.
Yeah. Welcome to the Spooky Screen, where five best friends review horror movies and television shows. For these past several weeks, we've been reviewing Showtime Network's breakout hit, Yellowjackets. The show is about a group of high school girls who survive out in the wilderness after their airplane crashes. And meanwhile, their adult counterparts grapple with the aftermath of that traumatic and mysterious survival 25 years later. So, today we'll be reviewing episode 7, which is titled No Compass. And I'm going to dive right into a spoiler synopsis of episode 7. So, episode 7 begins with Thaisa now having been revealed as the woman in the window. She starts to clean herself off and discovers a bite-shaped mark on her hand, reminiscent of these wolf hallucinations she's been having. After cleaning herself off, she syncs up with Shauna and Nat, and they decide to handle these blackmailers who are demanding $50,000. The money gets picked up along with a tracker that they plant on the money, but they lose the blackmailer after a chase in the mall ends in a glitter bomb and a gun going off. Thaisa, back in the wilderness, younger Thaisa, decides that she's had enough. She's going to embark on an expedition to search for help. She's going to continue to move on south. So a group with Van, Misty, and two other girls join her on this expedition. Meanwhile, back at the cabin, Shauna is finally confronted by Jackie. Jackie finds out that Shauna is now pregnant. And by the end of the episode, she also discovers Shauna's diary, which has all of her deepest, darkest, dirtiest secrets, and is in tears while reading it, presumably finding out about the secret behind her boyfriend Jeff and Shauna's relationship. At the end of the episode, Thaisa and her group are attacked by wolves, and what we see happen is that Van gets viciously mauled in the face by a wolf and ends up dying by the end of the episode. So that is episode 7, No Compass. Before we dive into likes and dislikes, the gimmick for this episode is that you are now leaving on an expedition to find some help for your crew. You're going to add another piece of clothing or item to your wardrobe to round out your Yellowjackets gear. So I've chosen a headlamp, which I know is very convenient, but that's what I've picked for my expedition gear. Johnny, what have you chosen? I think you're muted, buddy.
Johnny, we
You're
can't hear you.
muted.
I muted myself.
you're
like
muted.
proper etiquette. I brought a lined jacket, multifunctional because it'll keep you warm. You can use it as a pillow, and you can use it as a blanket.
You're
So,
stylish, too.
At this point, with my eye protection, nothing can spray me or hurt me in the eyes. I'm unstoppable. I have a K-bar, so I can slice basically through a grizzly bear. I'm ready.
All right, cool. Thank you, Johnny. Nick, what gear? Oh, Hammer Gang.
Hammer gang. Whoop, whoop.
We
Nick,
see
what
nails everywhere.
Nick, what did you bring for this?
I bought a book bag.
Going to
Old
anime
book bag.
school?
Yeah, it's like my book bag from high school. That
Where's your
Literally-
extension cord, please?
It's right here.
He
Thank
has
you
it
very
wrapped
much.
around his hatchet. Nick literally
yeah.
looks like an anime character right now.
It's great.
He's got
Nick,
a hatchet with a rope so he can twirl it and throw it.
Your
He's got his
outfit scares
backpack
me.
with his sketchbooks. He's got a cloak for disguising.
I look
his
like I've already
power.
been in the woods for years.
You've been somewhere.
You
Then
know
I'll
what,
be a
you
Nick
know what
Nitro.
Nick's dressed up as? Nick is dressed up as the dead guy in the rocking. What I would imagine the dead guy in the rocking chair dressed up as.
Wearing a kimono?
Yeah, man, he had style.
Anyways,
He loved being in silk.
Noah, we'll go to you. What are you bringing on this expedition?
All right. I went with the more castaway route in my brain. So since we're stuck in the Canadian wilderness, I'm sure at some point there'd be find a Canadian flag. And so I decided that this would be great, as like a head covering to protect from wind or snow or rain. And I didn't want to like drape it across my shoulders because it'd be slipping off. So I decided to tuck it into my warm hat.
Honestly, that's probably the one item that makes the most sense.
Exactly. And the reason why I have this is because my wife is actually Canadian, so I don't just carry
So-
Canadian flags on
She's
me.
like, Noah, where's our flag?
I was really hoping that you were gonna say it so that you can like jump off a cliff and fly.
Well, I don't think that's possible, but
In
That could be the
Yellowjackets,
hey, do you
extreme.
want to try it? You can borrow my flag.
everything else seems possible in Yellowjackets. Though.
Oh, there we
Alright.
go. He's already
Ooh,
knocking the
a little bit of
episode.
anger
I didn't say
there.
anything.
David, what did you bring on this expedition? What-
Well, I see
First of
that
all,
our-
what happened to Paper Man?
Well, you guys can't hear me, so I got to rework the Paper Man mask.
Okay.
Paperman persona.
And this next week I'm gonna come in like full. We went back to the airplane, and I got a tray from the airplane
That's
Damn.
cool.
from the food court.
But
What are you gonna do with the
are you gonna
tray?
use with
Well,
the
it
tray?
could act as a shield. It could act as a surface to cut things on,
Could act as
prepare
a
things
shield.
on.
In
Huh?
case
You
you,
can, David, you can cut stuff on rocks out in the wilderness too.
I mean, if you want to be unsanitary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's going to be so much more sanitary after you
You
pull
know,
it from a crashed airplane
I
from some
would
dead
say-
stewardess hands.
I would say that it would feel like you didn't have anything, you just grabbed it, but where did you get a tray from?
You'll never know. I got it from the
he
plane.
stole it off of the school bus where he removed all those
with the
gas caps.
The gas
That's-
cap thief strikes again.
That's for you.
25 years later.
That's for you to ponder and me to know.
All right. So everyone's geared up, along with David and his tray.
You can whack a wolf on the face with it.
That's true. It's a good
Whack
weapon.
it right on the nose. It's like a shark. It'll run
David,
away.
what's your weapon again?
Yeah,
I
what was
forgot.
your weapon again, Dave? Can you remind us?
Oh, those pair of scissors.
Dave.
Paper Man scissors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need those.
David's dying in the wilderness. He is not ready.
We thought Nick was
Yeah.
dressed.
I've come together, all right. I've really brought the outfit together now.
I
The
like
kimono's a
Um,
robe, and it keeps me warm somewhat. It's something I can use to sleep. I got the extension cord to whip people with, and I got the
Yeah.
hatchet connected to it. I'm
Look.
ready. And now I got a
All right.
bag. I can hold
Why,
things.
why are you
If-
whipping people?
If the
Nick is like-
podcast,
Teamwork makes the dream work. That's
if
what.
the podcast is a failure,
Nick
we
is
can always
like-
do an anime spin-off.
Yeah. All right, crew. We're gonna move on to likes and dislikes. We'll start out with you, David. Tell us if you've liked or disliked this episode. Be specific and try to give us the ultimate why.
Okay. You know what? Halfway through the episode, I thought I wasn't gonna like it, but ultimately, by the end of the episode, I did like it because at the end of it, it really felt like the direction is picking up a little bit. The one thing, so ultimately, I think I liked it just because it feels like the momentum is starting to pick up, and it feels like it's just going to keep continuing. I feel like if I watch episode 8 and it's just like completely disrails this momentum, it would be really upsetting and really kind of frustrating because I feel like things are starting to happen. All right, the group split off, somebody's dead. You've got like the stuff in the future is kind of like starting, even though I'm like still not really interested in that timeline, it's starting to work itself out. I did kind of like throw out my Wendigo theory after watching this episode, and I have a crazy new theory, but I'll save that for our theory crafting part of
Okay.
the episode.
Well,
But
I'm gonna
ultimately
cross that
it-
out.
Huh?
I'm gonna
yeah.
cross that one out. Go ahead.
I ultimately did like this episode. I liked the character development of the adults and kind of this ragtag group that Shauna, Thaisa, and Natalie are forming. I just really don't care for this Misty timeline or Misty angle that they're going for, because now she's like, I'm here just for my friends, and you're like, okay, obviously. Okay, so we thought she was a bad guy, and now obviously she's just a crazy good person, and she's like taking it to the extreme to help her friends. But then you're like, well, can you believe that? Is that the truth? I don't know. But ultimately, I like them. I liked
All
it.
right.
I'm ready to talk about it. I think this is a fun episode to talk about. I think
Great.
it's got a
Thank
lot
you.
of juicy meat to it.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, David. Noah, we'll go to you. Did you like or dislike this episode?
I'm gonna say I like this episode. It's there obviously a lot more happened in this one than the other ones. We finally had a character death pre post crash of the airplane, so that's always going to be make things interesting. I still feel like the pacing is a bit off. Like I still feel like we're one episode lag, for the season pacing. It still feels like this should have happened last episode, but I am excited for the momentum that it's building. I think this episode really opened my eyes to a lot of things that we can talk about later, like where I start to lay down my expectations and more let it take me for a ride. Um, like I more learned. We pretty much confirmed this episode that the supernatural is real. Like with, there's no way that she's predicting the river of blood and
Mm-hmm.
whatever the other one was. I don't know how that's going to pan out, the supernatural, and if it's going to work, but I'm more here for it. Like I'm more I'm signed up. I'm not necessarily amazed yet, but I am liking it more than I have been.
Great. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Noah.
Yeah.
We're going to turn to you, Nick, now. Can you tell us if you've liked or disliked this episode?
So I'm gonna say, I mean, I don't want to get too much into it. I guess I like the episode, but I agree with Noah in the sense that this still begets a bigger problem where we just feel like this is episode 7. To me, this is episode 4 or 5 material. If this is a 10 episode season, and it just feels like there was so much fluff to get here to finally make it interesting, and now we just have to speed roll through 3 episodes. And I really want to be captured by this series by the end, and I just feel like we're gonna ham fist our way to an ending.
Okay. So pacing concerns, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Pacing
I agree with
concerns.
Noah that pacing is still a major issue. I feel like we're behind and we have so little time left.
Yeah, because I think that one of the things about like when you hit a final stretch in a season is like you want like the final 2, 3 episodes to not feel like a Thanksgiving feast where you've overeaten, right?
Yeah, like I
Here we
want
go.
natural progression, and I want natural progression to conclusions. I want like things to come naturally in terms of answers. Like I don't want to just be like, oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. Like I don't want the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Okay. What are we gonna do here? Are we gonna go to Johnny or Noah? Do you want to ask a question?
No, it's okay.
Okay, Johnny, we are gonna turn to you. Can you tell us you're muted, my friend?
You're muted. I could have said my thing by now, you jerk.
This is why the runtime's so long. I am gonna say I didn't like it.
Ooh, your
First
first
time
dislike.
ever. It feels
I-
like.
I got no, I dislike some of the early ones too. I got to the end of it and I was I agree with all the pacing. I was still unsatisfied with what happened. I'm just like I'm not satisfied with what they've revealed and done. I think they didn't reveal enough about the blackmailer. They keep it hanging like, they got away, they did all this stuff and nothing really is concluded. They're hinting that it might be Adam, but you don't know. Um, Van's death was not supernatural enough, in my opinion. I know they did the foreshadow, but like the wolves and Thais are just in a tree again, and she's just dead. It just like it just doesn't seem powerful enough or connected enough, and like maybe they can convince me in the last couple episodes, but I'm starting to get very suspicious that the resolution of this I'm not going to be satisfied with.
Okay.
So I'm starting to very much doubt the plot, also not just the pacing, but I'm just starting to doubt that what they have in store is going to be something that I'll be impressed with or like.
Got it. Okay.
Me and Johnny switched places this week. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. We're gonna go to.
I wanted a more intense episode. Like I know it was a little more intense, but like I wanted them to like fully ramp up on all levels, and I feel like they just started the race. Just like Nick said.
Yeah, it was a bit reserved.
Yeah. So.
You know
Okay.
what's scary?
What, David?
Steven, in your little info dump Google Doc that you gave us, you said that the writers have potentially set this up for 4 to 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I would not watch 4 to 5 seasons of this show as it is
I
now.
agree.
Yeah.
I would not. I would not give this 5 years. This is
So,
a, this is a 2 to 3 season story. I feel like they could
mhm.
do something like really powerful in 30 episodes.
With the way it's working, I wouldn't even say 3 seasons. I would say 2 max.
Yeah. I think what's let's see, how many seasons will there be? The creator said the plan is to have 5 seasons of Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
Really?
that's just
It's not
I
going to
will. I
happen.
will agree with them that is a bad idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like they're
There's just
gonna
not enough.
drop.
Like, what material do you have to work with at this point? Like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
There's gonna be a reveal of stuff. It's like yeah.
It's gonna
Unless
be
they have
like
it all mapped out already, and like maybe you said
That's
they have
hard to
great
believe.
confidence. The writers have great confidence, but I feel like they've been, I hear you say this a lot, Stephen. The what do you say, like a character experimentation? You're like
Mhm.
really
a
into that right
character
now.
study.
You said about White Lotus. We've been watching it. It's not bad, but like I see a theme. This feels like they're just like exploring characters. Like not anything has happened, really. Like they crashed, but like Van was the first person to die, and they've just been like puttering around,
I say
eating
something now
rotting deer. Yeah.
Mhm.
after Johnny.
Yeah, go for it, Noah.
That's why my main comparison I wanted to make was like I feel like by the episode 7 of Breaking Bad, I know I feel bad for comparing to Breaking Bad, but I have to because we're holding it to that standard, right? That's why we're all in this because we said
Mhm.
it's going to be the next Lost, it's going to be the next Breaking Bad. I the episode 7 of Breaking Bad, I I want to say like there was so much more at stake than what's at stake right now. Like I'm pretty sure that drug dealer comes and threatens to kill Jesse and Walt and his family, right? And then and then you have the next 2 episodes with him trying to figure out how to solve this problem, right? There was a setup earlier in like right before the season finale. There's a setup that kind of gets you full on in.
Mm,
That hasn't happened. They're kind of like just moseying at this point. It's kind of
There's
like
no real sense of
it's
urgency.
it's
yeah.
not
Agreed.
nice. It's not necessarily meandering. It just feels like there's no single um inciting incident
Yeah.
that makes us all go, "Oh no, what's going to
Yeah. The
happen?" You
stakes aren't
know?
high. Like we don't know what the stakes are. Like there's this secret that they're hiding or something that they won't tell us. There's nothing at stake. Like one girl dies, but from wolves, like that's not a high stakes game. We're not that invested in Van. Like
Yeah.
It's
honestly, we're
kind
not that
of
invested in
yeah.
any of them yet. Like I don't know.
I have no real singular attachment to them because they haven't suffered at all,
But
and
the
they should have
difference,
suffered way earlier to make us
Mhm.
attached to them later.
No, the difference though, I will say of the two series, which is important. Breaking Bad focuses really on two characters, and this show is focusing on a lot more characters.
This is true.
Yeah,
This is
it's an
true.
They have
ensemble.
at least the four main adults in the future, but the past too, like they've left a
Okay.
lot of avenues. So
I didn't want to compare it to Lost because I feel like I
yeah,
do that even more than Breaking Bad. But
it's
Lost
more
also
appropriate.
set it up where in episode 7 they find the hatch, right? And then the next 2 episodes, Locke's trying to break into it. So that's like your main focus. Those are the stakes.
Yeah,
What is going to happen when he finds the hatch? Why is there a hatch on the island? We haven't gotten anything really
yeah.
like central focus stakes, you
Yeah.
know?
I do think the red herrings thing that Johnny said at the beginning of this season review has proven to be a sticking point for me as I rewatch. Is
Like a
that
detrimental thing.
they keep throwing you red herrings
The whole
without
time.
giving you a
Yeah, it throws off your focus.
big old tuna, like
Yeah.
something meaty to sink your teeth into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And so I think let's go to the questions. Let's start the questions because they are related to this. Now, Nick mentioned, or Dave, you mentioned that you would not watch 5 seasons of this, even though the creators have mapped out a 5 season series in mind. Now, I was speaking with Noah this weekend when we watched episode 7, and I wanted to get your guys' understanding. Game of Thrones hinted the White Walkers in the first scene of the pilot episode, but they didn't appear again until season 2. I checked this. Season 2, episode 2. Um, Knowing what you've seen in the teaser, in the opening of the pilot episode with the girl falling into the pit, what are you guys expecting to happen, or like what is satisfying? What is going to be satisfying for you guys? Um, for what is going to be what is going to make a satisfying season finale um, of the first season of Yellowjackets? Like, could I kind of throw that out there? What would you guys like to see?
I almost wish they never showed us that.
Yeah.
Part of me wishes that, because at least the show would have been unencumbered with expectation. Um, I honestly don't think there'd be a lot that they could show me that's going to win me over now. Um, like the scenarios that could, it has to be really extreme. There has to be a huge paradigm shift, and there's going to have to be a significant addition or change to the plot, like something that's just not introduced, that just takes over,
Mm.
that really has speed and tenacity, and it ties everyone together. But I'm
Yeah.
just I'm guessing they're going to do something like, there's going to be some type of murder they cover up or something. Like, it's going to be like a couple things that like a little interesting, but to me it like has to be like full on. We find out they're all part of, like, they're all possessed by some, I hate saying this, demon or something, and like it's like something that's so wild and out there, that's so powerful, and it's like they're in cahoots on this or something just really extreme.
You
Otherwise,
want
I think the soft buildup is not going to get interesting by just slowly building up.
you want the reveal to kind of open up the world of Yellowjackets.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want it to feel more expansive.
exactly. I'm looking at the outside of their jacket, and I want to see the inside, the liner, and it's
Yeah.
going to be something amazing that I don't know about, and it's going to be exceptional, and it'll make sense now why they've just been teasing me around.
I
Yeah.
think I think there's going to be two reveals at the end of this season. One, there's going to be a
Is this a
hint.
theory, David?
No, no, no. I just think this is probably how season one is going to end. That would give
Yes, it's a
season
theory.
two some fuel. I think it's going to be revealed that there's some evidence against Adam. Whether
It's a
Shauna finds
theory.
out. No, I'm just. Steven's question was what would be
Yeah, what
what
would
would
make a satisfying ending?
This
what
is
would
what
be a
you
sat-
want to
what,
see.
This
what
would
would
not
be a
make it
satis-
satisfying for you though, right? What would
well
make it satisfying for
What's
you?
satisfying to you?
Yeah.
The Wendigo shows up.
You're
I
obsessed with
would
that, huh?
like a supernatural focus.
Yeah.
And I feel like my theory from this last episode is more supernaturally focused. What would be a satisfying ending? God, I don't even know at this point.
But David,
They're probably going to come out in all of their like Yellow
can I
Jacket gear, and it's going to be like full circle. They're going to have all their furs on and everything,
but
and
is
it'll
that
be like
satisfying to you? Not what is
I
going to
don't
happen.
at this
I want to
point,
ask
Johnny,
you though.
I don't know what would be
I want to ask
satisfying.
you, do you think though Lottie's supernatural is enough to be satisfying? Because that's why I'm saying I don't agree. Like,
They
they need to
have,
stop letting
but
Lottie be
but
Lottie and
she but
Taissa be
she
the source of it all.
yeah.
If they are, then like let them fully own it, and let us see some of the
I
the
think I
wizard
think
behind
I think
the
there's some
machine.
evidence in this episode, and it might just be cherry picking, that there is something beyond them, and there are some other characters tapping into this supernatural aspect of it. But I don't know, just the idea of this story going on for 4 to 5 more seasons just kind of took the
Well,
gas out of.
let's not focus on that right now, right? Because we don't know if
You
this
don't
is
know,
going to go
but
on for
okay,
5 seasons. But like,
but you're
let's
listening to
focus on
the
the
end.
season finale right now.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
season finale, what would be satisfying to me? Ending on Winter's coming to steal from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Them getting somewhere, and then like snow starting to fall, because that
Got
sets
it.
up season two as a anticipatory like enemy. Like, I love the idea of like nature as the enemy, or like a force of nature that you can't control, and there is no. It's not
This
good or bad. It's just happening to them, and they have to
winter
survive
is
through it.
coming.
That's a good one. So, Johnny, for you, I want to record this so everyone has their. What would make a satisfying season finale again? Something. Could you give me something more specific than
Yeah,
like opening up the world?
yeah. I think what I'm trying to say is like I want them to lean fully into the supernatural, and I want it to be more than Lottie and Thais's just like little random bursts of something happening. I want the source of it to have a role. I don't need a visible. I don't need to see a face, but they need to have a role that's tangible, and it needs to have an impact that starts setting the roots to everything. Like, you don't need to tell me how it connects, but I have to be able to imply how it connects across all the storylines. If they can't do that, then I don't think I'm gonna be satisfied.
Noted. Okay. That's I'm writing all this down. So, Nick, why don't you tell us, what are you expecting? What would make you a happy camper in regards to the season finale?
So I was sitting here and I was thinking about one thing, and then as everyone was answering, I was trying to like see if I could compile it into my answer. Um, and I think the only way this could really work for me is if, for whatever reason, Thaisa's group comes across the supernatural in the wild, and that, I don't know, controls them to return to the group, um, and like like that kind of puts them at odds because they're gonna come back like grizzled almost. I guess I don't think Van's dead. That's a I know that's theory territory, but I don't think Van's dead. They didn't say she was dead. I don't
Her
think she's
face
dead.
was chewed off.
So,
like
I think the
toothpaste.
supernatural's gonna help her stick around.
I'm gonna write all this down. So I'm writing all this down. So okay, so
So I think that they're gonna return to the group.
Is this a theory
Possessed-
or what you want to see, Nick?
What I want to see. I think they're
Okay.
gonna come back to the group. I would like for them to come back to the group possessed in some sort, and
I agree.
they slowly but surely, like like they're kind of thinking like, oh, like like they can't survive, they can't hack it, so it's time for us to take them out, and this is what's going to be what starts the war between them. And I need at least one person to die to start that battle. I need I need a major, I don't want to say grotesque, but I need a very ridiculously impactful death out of nowhere for the stakes to finally be like, here's where we are now. And then like I kind of agree with David where like winter could come and that could be a detriment for not just one group but for both groups. Like, yeah, Thaisa's group could be the attacking group, but they're also just like, crap, we don't have shelter just as much as the people we're going to start hunting doesn't have shelter.
Yeah.
So like that would be satisfying for me because now they're at odds with each other, but they both have to be at odds with nature.
okay, this is good. I'm writing this down. You're recorded. We will revisit this at the season finale. So Noah, why don't you hit us with what you would like to see, and we can move on to the next question.
So the analogy of the being fed red herrings and then no meaty tuna, right? We haven't gotten a big old fat meaty tuna yet. I want to be slapped in the face with a big old like meaty tuna. Like, I don't even want to see it coming. I don't want it to
Say
be
that again.
offered up. I want to be slapped in the face with a big old meaty tuna. I don't want to see it coming.
Say it one more time.
No, I'm not gonna say it one more time. Now it feels weird. I don't want to have any. I just want a whole bunch of people to die. Like, I want it to be chaos. I want to be like, whoa, what just happened? Wait,
You want
I'm
mass
like,
slaughter?
yeah, I want my whole paradigm of the show to just shift, and I want to be taken completely off guard, because right now all I feel is on guard.
Mhm.
I'm on guard for all the secrets, the red herrings they're trying to do, and blah blah blah, whatever setups they're trying to do. I'm trying to look behind the curtain, and it's kind of tiring because they just keep pulling the curtain down. I want them to like just go ham on it, and something I completely unexpect. And my specific example I'm going to give is I want a whole bunch of people to die that you're not expecting to die. Like, just mass chaos, mass slaughter. Not that I want to see people die. I want the whole.
Yeah, there has to be some stakes.
Yeah, there's
Have
got to
some
be a
loss.
huge subversion.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Dave, do you have a theory that you want to?
Oh
put
no,
in?
I just think like Noah's just said out of the blue. I think Jeff might be the blackmailer. I think that might have all of his answers of going to the store late at night. You know,
The
the dad,
father.
Shauna's husband.
Yeah.
I had not thought of that. I like that.
I wrote it down. So we wrote it down. Okay, so
I just think that's like a left field.
I have
Craziness.
a boring theory that I think the show is going to go with.
okay, what is it?
I think they're going to start. I think by the end of the season, they're going to sacrifice someone because things are going to get so bad and so out of hand. They're going to sacrifice someone to try and appease this spill blood god, whoever they think it is. That's my guess. Is it's going to be like one person that we've got grown to know is going to be sacrificed. And I don't really want that to happen because I feel like that's very predictable. So I don't want it to happen, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, it's written down. So the last question before it seems that we're covering the theories pretty well right now, but the question that I want to ask you before we wrap up this episode is, and you can participate, not not everyone has to answer this. Has the present day timeline moved its needle for you at all in regards to what has happened? You know, has the dynamic between Nat, Taissa, and Shauna now teaming up, has that made things more interesting, or you just don't care still and you just want to focus on the wilderness?
I could go.
Yeah, no, you go.
I will say them teaming up has made it more interesting, but it still does not justify its existence in my eyes.
Okay.
I still think that if we only focused on the past timeline, the show would be more interesting.
I agree. I don't want to because I think we can all agree that we have an issue with the present day timeline in the same sentiment. So to not turn on, I think it's pretty unanimous that we agree it does cool things, but it doesn't justify its existence.
Well, speak for yourself, because I've always liked the present day timeline.
Really?
But I will say, I think I haven't been convinced by these developments, though. I think they're too slow. I think they're uninteresting. Like they're picking up pace a little bit, but it's still not enough. It's the same pacing issue.
Got it.
The blackmail and Misty, they should have been a whole notch higher. Nothing really happened with Misty that whole episode. Zero happened. Nothing. And the blackmail was a very uninteresting result. But I will say, in listening to episode 3 this past week of our podcast and tying together, I still will stand by that Taissa is connected to it all. From, like I said from the beginning, she's the one who found the lake, and and then Lottie noticed the cabin. She seems to be a theme of leading, and she has a deep connection to whatever darkness somehow. And I'm not sure where that takes it, but I think that with the reporter too, I think she's more purposeful in the present timeline than we are being led to believe.
It sounds
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think she knows more still, and she's just like Sam. I think that was a foreshadow of what's going on with the girls.
So it sounds like at this point, right, between what you've just said now and what you are hoping for in a satisfying season finale, where you want the supernatural to have a role, whether it's visible or not, preferably invisible, is that you want Taissa to develop into this kind of like the centerpiece of the supernatural theme of this show.
And just fully own it.
Yeah, and fully own it. Okay. Dave, do you have anything that you want to share before we wrap up the episode?
About theories or about the question?
About the question, like whether the needle has moved for you in regards to the adults timeline with Shauna, Nat, and Taissa now timing up. Do you riff off of their dynamic?
I like it. I like what the show's doing with it. I do agree that it is a little kind of too late. It should have been done a little bit earlier. But Noah, you brought up something when you were talking about liking the show or disliking the show. This episode, I like the episode, but I've kind of just let go. I feel after watching our last episodes, rewatching the first 3 episodes of our recording, I just want to reserve my judgment. I'm just going to watch these next 3 episodes and just enjoy watching the show. I'm just going to...
You've just been disappointed so much you're just numb.
This is Stockholm. This is classic Stockholm syndrome.
I don't know if it's Stockholm.
It's like your dad forgot to pick you up too many times.
I don't know if it's Stockholm.
He's like, I smell vodka.
I don't know if it's Stockholm or I'm just over analyzing the episodes too much and I'm maybe not letting something come through to me as a viewer.
But we are hyper focusing on episodes weekly. So it is hard. It is easy to do.
All right, great. So
but it puts more pressure on the episodes to deliver.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? On their own.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like I have what I need in regards to the final 3 episodes. So this
I
discussion has been really helpful. Yeah, go ahead, Noah.
I just want to say that if I was lost in the wilderness and I read that David was cheating on my girlfriend in his diary, I probably wouldn't care because I would be worried about my surviving.
Really?
So yeah,
You would be
I'm just saying we
You
didn't.
don't
I feel
think
like
that
we
would?
didn't touch that. We didn't touch on that. I feel like that's a
Yeah.
huge plot point that we didn't touch on. But I just want to say that I wouldn't care if David was
Why
Yeah,
let
you
it be
know
me?
But
that
think
job
about it.
that
But think of it like this, though, Noah. Right?
okay.
You were the
The sexy silk
de
robed
facto
Nick.
leader of our group. Your role has been diminished, and this is the final nail in the coffin.
Uh huh.
I kind of sympathize with
and
Jackie
she's
in this
pregnant.
episode,
And she's pregnant.
and she's pregnant with
Yeah,
his
I
kid.
guess.
Like
I
that's a
guess
real impact to
There
their
is no live,
situation.
laugh, love going on.
it's hard to do again because the future timeline screws it up for me. Right?
Mm.
Like that's the problem.
Well, we know Jackie ain't alive.
But the thing is, also
Or
at
is
this point
she?
in this season, we don't care about Jackie and we care about Shauna. We've spent more time with Shauna and her character. We don't care that Jackie's like messed up about this.
I feel
We're
like this show
focused
would have
more on
been
Shauna.
better if this show had Jackie as a character instead of Shauna, and then we saw Shauna had a life by the end of the season.
I still maintain the fact that we are watching anti-heroines. Like these are firmly not great women at all, right? And I think
Wow,
that
wow. How you gonna say that about women? Whoa.
Don't call me a
Misogynist.
misogynist. These are
Misogyny is
not good
hilarious.
women. These are not role models for the future ladies of America. No,
Can I? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Finish.
No, I'm
No,
done.
I was gonna add one more theory that I had. It's my out there theory. It's my left field theory.
Like your
Ready?
Okay.
Don't you dare dishonor the Canadian flag.
The Canadian robe.
He wears it.
I wear it with honor and respect. My out there theory is that Nat is behind all of this blackmail. Something happened to her.
Really?
That's something happened to
Hmm.
her back then that she's making them all pay for.
That would make a lot of sense, actually.
And I take it all the way back to when she's in rehab and she says, I know my purpose. I know what I'm supposed to do. And that feels like that has not been fully
played out.
flushed out yet. And she's like the biggest red herring ever. I feel like they're totally trying to throw me for a loop.
Yeah, she had
So
that
that's
cool
my
Porsche
ultimate
gunzine.
theory. Yeah. Just because she's crying about what's his face, maybe something bad happened between them that she was getting revenge for that we don't know about. So that's my crazy theory.
All right.
And I want to deliver it now before like things start getting
I like
handed
that one.
just in case.
And
We have a robust docket of theories, predictions heading into the final 3 episodes.
Good.
And I think we're in a good spot there. David, I know you want to say something. I'm going to give you like 15 seconds to blurt it out, and then we have to move on.
All right, my out there theory is that the forest is alive and is setting up all these things for them. The
This
wolves
isn't a Disney movie.
the
Shang-Chi
wolves,
style.
no. The wolves don't show up until Javi carves the little wooden wolf. They don't find the blood river until Lottie gives them the prediction. I think the supernatural aspect in the forest is taking their fears and manifesting it, and it's like twisting it. And I came to that theory after what Johnny said about Thaisa from episode 3. They needed fresh water, and the forest supplied them with the river.
Lake.
They needed shelter, and the forest supplied them with
I
a
like
cabin. I think
Clever.
this forest is more of an entity that is playing with them.
Okay. That's a good one.
that's-
That might be
yeah.
a series long prediction.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
agree.
mean. That's
Yeah.
this is I'm picking on Johnny's like overarching
Mhm.
alien idea.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
All right.
thing.
So that you went
Aliens.
way over 15 seconds, but that's okay. It was a good theory.
Okay, thank
These
you.
are
We're gonna
just acceptable.
we're
That
gonna
was
move
good.
to final scores. Johnny,
Very
did you have
fast.
something you want to say?
Nope. No.
Okay, final scores. One sentence summary of this episode, and then we'll close it out. So Noah, why don't you go first? Give us your score of this episode, maybe a summary if you feel like it.
I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I think
Mhm.
it was good. It wasn't great. I still feel like I haven't been wowed this whole season. Like I said, I still feel like the pacing is one episode behind, but things are starting to pick up, and I hope episode 8 blows my, my mind off. My mind blows my hat off my head.
All right, Nick, you next.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this episode a 7 out of 10, and I'm gonna say that it was good, but it still feels like too little, too late.
Okay, too little, too late. It's like, no, I'm not gonna make a metaphor. Johnny, you go next.
5 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Damn, all right.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
real critical the whole
Jeez,
time.
I've been
man.
telling it has to set up one
That's-
episode. It has to
that's-
knock it out of the park. Hasn't done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
All right,
But
David.
your low score has to do with expectations, not
Yes.
necessarily
Yeah,
everything.
but
anything else.
that's number 7. It's number 7. Like it
Yeah.
should
Okay.
own it.
It's a big
I'm
number.
gonna say this is a 6 out of 10, one down from last episode, and I think it's good, but it's a little bit of a dip. And I hope next week, like you guys are saying, like I hope next week's an 8, and then it goes 9.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Like this is the end of the roller coaster. I want craziness. And the summary for this episode is: remember to wear your chicken bones around your neck, and it's okay to sleep with other people's boyfriends if you're in the wild.
Only if you're in the wild.
Not great life advice by David.
I just want to correct
No, it's not
David that
great
it's
life.
actually a deer bone, not
it's
a
a
chicken
deer
well,
bone.
yeah.
It was a deer bone. All right.
Yeah,
So
animals.
if someone could get their hands on a deer bone necklace, that would be pretty dope. Homework for next week. So
What do you
we'll average score
No, it looks
6.
like a witch.
6 for No Compass, Yellowjackets, episode 7. Thank you for
Compass.
joining
Noah's
us.
name is Canadian Witch.
I feel like I'm gonna be married to like a Canadian prince.
Oh.
You're like in the Canadian
You're a Canadian regalia.
Midsommar, Canadian Midsommar.
So modest.
My
we
father's
saw
giving 700 moose to my husband.
And
There'll be
golden
maple syrup.
maple
There'll be
tree.
a maple syrup fountain at your
Fountain.
wedding.
all right, so we're going to close this out. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at The Spooky Screen. We'll be coming soon to TikTok.
And YouTube. Woo! We did it.
I did say
Right.
YouTube.
We
We're
did it.
finally on YouTube. It
No,
took us a
I
while.
know.
Oh, we're finally on YouTube. Yeah. You will find this episode on YouTube. That is a Steven promise, which is a special promise.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's the most special.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Anyways, thank you for listening to Spooky Screen. Thank you for your support. This has been a review of episode 7 of Yellowjackets, No Compass. Tune in next week for a review of episode 8 and the
another
movie,
special promise.
the movie that David has picked. Which
No,
I
don't say that because we're out of order.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah.
to the releases because we're so
Yeah.
far ahead.
Yeah. Scratch all that.
We're gonna
cut.
be doing things.
Thank you for your support as always, and for listening to the Spooky Screen. This has been episode 7, a fun evening
time
recording together. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.